So it's time for another identity crisis video, and in today's video we explore the claim that I am quite possibly not an INFP like I repeatedly claim that I am, and instead I am actually, perhaps, an ISFP. So what brought on this identity crisis? Well, as always, it was a random comment I received on one of my videos. And in this comment, it pointed out that I have very SE eyes, extroverted sensing eyes that would only be used by an extroverted sensor like an ESFP or an ISFP or an ENTJ, etc. And the reason that I have SE eyes is this sort of fattiness under my eyes, which is, I suppose, not really fat, but muscle that has developed because I'm constantly looking left, right, in front of me, behind me, because I'm always looking at the physical world. I don't really have that attachment to the abstract world. And SI users like ISFJs, ISTJs, but also INFPs, we don't have extroverted sensing, and therefore we sort of don't really look around us at all. We don't really look down when we tie our shoes. We don't look up to see the clouds. We just sort of look straight ahead blankly, having a sort of endless existential crisis. You know, like a lot of INFPs will stay in their room and spend the whole weekend just staring at the wall, something that I do repeatedly anyway. But according to this comment, I show signs of being more of an ISFP. And while I did sort of want to dismiss this claim because I feel like some SI users do actually move their eyes around, I thought that instead I would just put it to the commenter that I look around a lot like I'm in a dream world. I put it in a very nice way, but obviously my tone kind of upset the person writing the comment, and they insisted that no, I do have SE eyes, look it up. And I wasn't able to argue any more points after that because I guess there was just nothing to argue. I was clearly an ISFP. Now, I do think there is something to be said for looking into people's eyes and seeing if that sort of indicates certain aspects of their personality. Like there's this idea out there of the INFJ stare. And a lot of INFJs don't look you in the eye, but when they're saying something serious, you often do get a sense that they're really staring at you. It's just sort of the way their mind works and how it manifests itself physically. Whereas I find a lot of INFPs and ISFPs look up and down a lot because they're contemplating and wondering and assessing things based on their values. And I do see the same thing with introverted thinking users a lot, where they're looking up and down and contemplating and assessing things in their mind. Although with introverted thinkers, a lot of the time they just don't look you in the eye at all because they don't want to have that human connection. And of course, I think it could be taking things a bit far to say that I've got very pronounced baby fat under my eyes, which is an embarrassment to not only me, but my friends, which is as a result of me having SE eyes. But it is a bit tricky because if I was to argue that there's no real evidence to say that having sort of bags of fat under my eyes makes me an SE user automatically, well, I am an INFP, or apparently an ISFP, and we use introverted feeling as our main function, therefore we don't have the ability really to use any logic. But it is a bit tricky for me to go and argue that there's no real evidence to say that having bags of fat under your eyes is as a result of being an SE user, because as we all know, INFPs are a little bit over focused on extroverted thinking and introverted sensing and trying to accumulate data and evidence to back up things, whereas some other personality types, I guess, don't need to use as much statistics because they've got introverted thinking potentially. But anyway, it's a little bit tricky because I can't really prove either way whether I'm an ISFP or an INFP, but one thing I do know for sure is that I am biased when I'm doing these personality tests online, and therefore I'm not really sure if I'm the right person to be trusted in doing personality tests. And I've found that people who don't really know who you are, like strangers on the internet, they actually have a better chance of working out what your personality type is because they don't know you. They've got no idea who you are. What better person to ask, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remain an ISFP for now because that's what the latest data proves. And if anyone else comments on my video and suggests that maybe no, I'm an ENTP or I'm an ESTJ, well, then that's what I will then go on to become. I will just become whatever personality type that someone tells me that I am, and I will just sort of trust the fact that they are unbiased. So anyway, let me know in the comments what personality type you think I really am. Are you an ISFP who was formerly claiming to be an INFP but realized based on your SE eyes that you were incorrect all along? Let me know in the comments your thoughts, and I'll see you next time.